All right. Had a little bit of technical difficulty. Think I have things going now. Ortiz Jones grounded out to the pitcher. Sanborn struck out, and Lord flew out to right field. On the mound is Oliphant, and he's going to face Schumacher, Pittman, and Santiago. There's a foul ball by Schumacher. So it looks like I've got everything going here. Welcome into the second game. 4-3 in 9 innings was that first one. There's a pop-up into shallow left field. That's going to hit for a base hit. So Schumacher's on with a hit to left field. He's led off both games with base hits. He had 2 base hits and 2 strikeouts, 2 for 4 in the first game. Pittman is going to step in. Pittman had a home run in the first game, had a base hit and a home run. He was 2 for 3, he also had a sac bunt. This game will only be a 7-inning game because whenever the first game goes extra innings, it becomes that 9-inning game. Doesn't necessarily go 9, there's strike 1 called. So the first game goes to the Blue Devils in 9 innings. There, the throw back over to first base, back in safely is Schumacher. So Pittman steps in, 0-1 the count with a runner at first. Runner goes, strike called on the outside corner, and in with a stolen base is Schumacher. The ball gets clear into center field, and he moves over to third base. So 0-2 the count, strike called on the second pitch. Nobody out, and Schumacher with a stolen base, and then on to third on the throwing ear into the outfield. So 90 feet away is the lead run here in the early going of the second game. There is a line drive into right center that's going to go for a double. So a base hit and a double, and actually he's headed for third, and he's going to be safe at third. The hand gets by and in there. The coach is coming out to complain, but at this point, it is going to be a triple. I don't see a change. So an RBI triple for Pittman, and that's going to bring up Santiago. So Pittman with a triple after the leadoff base hit by Schumacher. Santiago steps in. He had 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts and a ground out in the first game, and there is an RBI base hit into left field. So promptly on the first pitch, Santiago hits a screaming line drive into left field for an RBI single. So back-to-back RBI hits by Pittman and Santiago, and the Blue Devils are in business with 2 runs. There's strike taken at the knees on the inside corner by Still. He's up there with nobody out, runner at first, and the Blue Devils with a 2-run lead. Still had a base on balls. Called out on strikes. There's a throwback over to first, back in safely is Santiago. Base on balls, got punched out on strikes, had a double into the left field corner, and a ground out. A little bit low, ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. A little bit late getting this one started. Had a little bit of difficulty with my live stream. Throw back over to first by Oliphant. Back in safely is Santiago. 1-1, nobody out, runner at first. Here comes the pitch, runner goes, there's a ground ball up the middle. Second baseman is going to step on second, and he is gone down. The throw back over to first, not in time for the double play. So a 4 unassisted fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. So while they check out the foot, we will take a break. We'll be back. So those of you watching the video will see that the runner at first was called out for the hard slide in at second base. So that makes 2 outs in the inning, and then Rory Combs just hit a base hit into right field. That's going to bring up Mooney. Mooney had 2 strikeouts out on a bunt and a base on balls in the first game. There is a wild pitch that bounces off the catcher, and he can't find it. So Combs all the way to third on that wild pitch. So 2 runs in the inning. Then what looked to be a runner running, so it had the second baseman hitting for the bag. The ball is hit right up the middle. They end up with a 4 unassisted, then 3 double play. There's a swing and a miss. So the interference on the slide into second creates the finish of that double play with 2 outs. Combs base hit into right field. There's a foul out of play and over the first base dugout by Mooney. There's a foul ball strike.
There's actually an error on the first base.
Comes the pitch. In the dirt, blocked nicely by the catcher. The catcher this game is number 24, White. Ezel is the designated hitter. White was the designated hitter in the first game. I like the coaches saving the catcher's legs. There's a soft line drive at the second baseman. Best takes care of that. So 2 runs in the inning. At the end of 1 full inning, the Blue Devils have a 2-0 lead. We'll take a break. We'll be back. All right, here we go to the top of the second inning. Ortiz back for his second inning of work. There is strike 2. Ortiz working very quickly here. 0-2. Missed the first half, top half the first inning. Here comes the first pitch. That's high and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trevino is up. Trevino popped out, had an RBI double. There's a foul ball down the left field side. Punched out on a strikeout and had a base hit. So he was 2 for 4 in the first game. He's up there facing Ortiz, 1-2 the count. There's a defensive swing on a little pop into the outfield. Coming in hard is Pittman. Pittman takes care of that for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Keller. Keller had 2 pop outs, a 2 RBI base hit, and a strikeout his first time up. That ball misses a little bit high, 1-0. Top of the strike zone, a little different here in this second game, already evident. Here comes the 1-0. There's a fastball fouled over the first base dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Labette County batting here in the top of the second. They trail 2-0 after 1. There's a fastball blown right by him. Ortiz with the heater for 1 ball, 2 strikes. But he comes right back with that heater again. High and outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Keller. Keller, the shortstop. Comes the 2-2 from Ortiz. Outside, ball 3. Goodfellow behind the plate in this second game. Paxton the DH. Other than that, the lineup is the same with the change of the pitcher. Holy cow, that ball missed evidently a little bit low. So the top and bottom of the strike zone are squeezed up and down a little bit to make it a tight strike zone, it appears, here in this second game. So the pitchers and the hitters will have to get that figured out. So base on balls issued to Keller, that's going to bring up Ezel. He swings at the first pitch to Green to Mooney for the double play to end the inning. So a 5-4-3 double play ends any threat of that. And we go to the bottom half of the second inning. The Blue Devils lead 2-0. We'll be back. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Green, Paxton, and Goodfellow scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Brandon Green with the base hit that wins the game in the ninth. There's a fly ball to deep center field. The center fielder takes care of that, Ortega Jones. So 1 swing, 1 out for Oliphant here in the top half of the second inning. .34, Gavin Gifford to pinch hit for Paxton. Paxton, 35, was the scheduled DH. There's a ground ball at the second baseman. He's up with it and over to first. So Bess Over to Trevino for the second out of the inning. So 2 down to Goodfellow. Goodfellow batted only once in the first game, and he struck out swinging in that at bat. He steps in, takes inside ball 1. He steps in with 2 outs and nobody on. As the Blue Devils bat here in the bottom half of the second with a 2-run lead, 2-0 on 4 hits. Here comes the pitch. That's a strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike. The wind is out of the southeast right now, blowing leaves across the field. There's a fly ball lifted into center field. Shading for the sun is Ortega Jones, and he hauls that one in. So we go to the top of the third. The Blue Devils lead 2-0. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Here we go to the top half of the third inning. Ortiz back for his second inning of work. White, Griffith, and Bess scheduled up for the Cardinals of Labette County. White struck out twice, grounded out to the shortstop, and popped out to the second baseman in the first game. He'll step in as he leads off the top of the third for his Cardinals of Labette County out of Parsons, Kansas. They trail 2-0 here in the second game. The first game went to the Blue Devils in extra innings that took 9 to decide it, 4-3. There is a fly ball into right field, right at Combs. Combs takes care of that for 1 out on 1 pitch for Ortiz. It's going to bring up Griffith. Griffith playing third base here in the second game. Did not play in the first game, so his first at bat today. Strike called on the outside corner at the knees. Here comes the 0-1 from Ortiz. Outside and high, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. With the Cardinals batting here in the top of the third, they trail 2-0 to the Kansas City, Kansas Blue Devils. There's a pop foul back and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Griffith, the third baseman. Here comes the 1-2. Curveball just stays a little bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Comes the wind and the pitch by Ortiz. Took a little bit off of that one, and a strikeout for Ortiz. Griffith down on strikes. That's going to bring up Bess. Bess will bat here with 2 outs. Bess grounded out 3 times in the first game, twice to the second baseman and once to the third baseman. And there he takes strike 1 called with a fastball from Ortiz. Comes the 0-1. There is a ball that just does get to the grass out in right field. So a base hit by Best. So back to the top of the order to Ortega Jones. Ortega Jones grounded out to the third baseman 3 times, then a base hit into left field. He takes ball 1 high. 2 outs, 1 on to the center fielder, Ortega Jones. Comes the 1-0. Strike called outside corner at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ortega Jones. Comes the stretch and the 1-1 from Ortiz. Just misses a little bit inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Top of the third action. This game will be a 7-inning game unless it goes extras. There's a throw back over to first. Back in safely is Bess. Runner goes. Safe in at second. 3-1 the count. Three and one the count to Ortega Jones. So runner now in scoring position with the stolen base. By Bess. 3-1 the count, 2 outs. Here's the stretch and the pitch from Ortiz. Ball 4 just a little bit low. That's going to bring up Sanborn. He's going to be up there with 2 on and 2 outs. In the first game, he grounded out twice to second base, had a base hit to left field, and flew out to center field. He'll be up there with 2 on and 2 outs. Misses a little bit low, ball 1. Want to know the count to Sanborn. Play back at second base. And he is out on the pickoff play. So we'll go to the bottom half of the third inning with the Blue Devils leading 2-0 over the Labette County Cardinals. We'll be back. All right, Oliphant back to the mound for his third inning of work. Blue Devils scheduled to send up Schumacher, Pittman, and Santiago. Schumacher led off both games with singles. He'll step in as he leads off the bottom of the third for the Blue Devils. Comes the pitch from Oliphant. Strike on the outside corner at the knees. Oliphant, a tall right-hander. Schumacher batting on the left side. Inside, strike 2 called at the knees. Comes the 0-2 to Schumacher. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Comes the 1-2 in the dirt. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. comes the wind and the 2-2 from Oliphant. Took a little off of it. There's a fly ball down the left field line. That's going to be off the wall. The left fielder cannot get to it in Sanborn. So there is another inning leading off hit for Schumacher. It's going to bring up Pittman. Pittman had an RBI triple into right center his first time up. He'll step in with Schumacher at second and nobody out. Squares to bunt does Pittman. And the sac bunt is executed by Pittman. So a sac bunt by Pittman has Schumacher at third for Santiago. Santiago had a base hit to left field his first time up with an RBI. He takes low and outside, ball one. One out. Schumacher at third, Santiago at the plate. 2-run lead by the Blue Devils. There is a ground ball foul down the left field side. Strike called on the outside corner. Oh, and 2 the count on Santiago. 1 out, runner at third. Just gets a piece of that and fouls it back to the screen. So we'll do the 0-2 again. One ball, 2 strikes to Santiago. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Oliphant. Swings and misses that fastball for the second out of the inning. So Santiago down on strikes. That's going to bring up Still. Still had a ball headed up the middle for a base hit, except that the runner was going, so it brought the second baseman right over to where the ball was for a double play to make 2 outs in the inning. There's a base hit into right field. That's going to be an RBI hit for Brandon Still. There's Brandon going to the right side for an RBI base hit. That's going to bring up Combs. Combs had a base hit to right field his first time up. He takes a strike on the outside corner at the knees. So 3-0 the count here for the Blue Devils as they bat in the bottom half of the third. The second game is now a 7-inning game because the first game went extras. There's a fly ball into deep right center. With the 2 outs, it allowed Still to be on the run. Didn't have to wait to see. So that's going to be an RBI triple to the right center gap for Combs. That's going to bring up Mooney. Mooney hit a soft line drive to the second baseman his first time up. He'll be up there with 2 outs. And a runner at third base. 4-0 count now. The Blue Devils plated 2 in the first and 2 so far here in the third. Here comes the pitch from Oliphant. There's a ground ball just foul down the third baseline. Oh and 1 the count to Mooney. Comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. No runs on 1 hit and no errors for the Cardinals of Labette County. 4 runs on 7 hits and no errors for the Blue Devils. Comes the 0-2. Fly ball lifted into shallow right field. That ball's going to drop for an RBI hit for Mooney. Makes the count 5-0. It's going to bring up Green. Green flew out to center field. We're going to have a visit to the mound. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Cardinals have a left-hander getting ready down in their bullpen. Green steps in now with 2 outs and a runner at first in Mooney. Outside and high, ball 1. Snap throw down to first. Back in safely is Mooney. 3 runs in the inning. Back-to-back-to-back hits, 4 RBIs. There's throw back over to first, back in safely. So still Combs and Mooney all with RBI hits in the inning. Here comes the pitch. Just misses, not sure where. 1-0 the count. Throw back over to first, back in safely is Mooney. Another throw over, back in safely again. Foul ball backing out of play. 2-1 the count to Green. Green, the third baseman. Throw back over, back in safely again is Mooney. Runner goes. Fouled back to the screen, so the hit and run was on. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Brandon Green. There's a fly ball, shallow left field, coming in hard is Sanborn to take care of that. So 3 runs in the inning. 2 runs in the first, 3 in the third, 5-0 lead. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the top of the 4th. All right, here we go to the top half of the fourth inning. Sanborn, Lord, and Trevino due up for the Cardinals. Here comes the first pitch from Ortiz. That's a strike outside part of the plate at the knees. Sanborn struck out swinging his first time up. Comes the wind and the pitch. Another strike at the waist outside part of the plate. 0-2 the count quickly on Sanborn. A little bit extra that time, throwing high and outside by Ortiz. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter here in the top of the fourth. There's a foul ball off the foot of the batter. That ball just about hit him. He turns and fouls it into his foot for a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sanborn, the left fielder. There's a swing and a miss on a high fastball for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Lord. He flew out to right field his first time up in the second game. Comes the first pitch to him. Strike called. Lower part of the zone, outside part of the plate. Ortiz working quickly. Here comes the 0-1. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To the right fielder. Strike called. Outside part of the plate at the knees. Comes the wind and the 1-2. Curveball froze him outside part of the plate. Strikeout by Lord. That's going to bring up Trevino. Trevino flew out to center field his first time up the second game. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on to face Ortiz. There's a ball hit to left field. That's right at Schumacher. Schumacher puts that away, so at the end of 3.5, the Blue Devils lead 5-0. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the bottom half of the fourth. New pitcher for Labette County, number 10, left-hander on the mound. He will face Gifford, Goodfellow, and then back to the top of the order, Schumacher, if there's no pinch hitters. There is first pitch swinging to deep center field, driving the center fielder back, and that ball is out of here. So the DH, Gifford, with a leadoff home run. So 2 times today, the leadoff hitters have hit home runs. So Gifford makes it a 6-0 count. So that's going to bring up Goodfellow. He's going to step in. Goodfellow flew out to center field his first time up. He hits a ball to left field, coming in hard as the left fielder. Sanborn with that out. It's going to bring up Schumacher. He's had a single and a double. In this second game, he'll step in with one out. Lefty versus lefty. There's a curveball that just sails a little bit outside. There's a strike right at the waist, outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 run in on the home run by Gifford. Little bit high, ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Blue Devils. No runs on 1 hit for the Cardinals. Pitch is on the outside corner, took a little off of it. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out to Schumacher as he bats here in the bottom of the 4th. Blue Devils with a 6-0 lead in this second game. They won the first one in extra innings. There's a fly ball out of play into the bullpen down to the left field line. The first game was scheduled for 7 innings, went 9. Blue Devils scored on a walk-off base hit by Green. Here's the pitch, outside, ball 3. So they won 4-3 on a walk-off base hit by Green. 3-2 the count, 1 out to Schumacher here in the bottom of the 4th. Outside, ball 4. So Schumacher works a 1-out walk. It's going to bring up Pittman. Pittman had an RBI triple his first time up, and then a sac bunt his second time up. So 1 for 1 in this second game. A little bit high, ball 1. So he's had a triple, a home run in the first game, a sac in each game. That's inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Schumacher at first, 1 out. The runner goes high and inside. Stolen base for Schumacher. 3-0 the count to Pittman. Wouldn't be surprised to just see them put him on. We'll see. Comes the 3-0 pitch. There's a ground ball at the third baseman. Third baseman cannot get the handle. That's going to be an error on Griffith. So Santiago will be up there with 2 on and 1 out. Santiago's had a base hit, left field, and a strikeout in the second game. First pitch to him misses low and inside, ball 1. Comes the pitch. High fly ball on the left field side. Foul territory. And the ball comes to the turf over there harmlessly. Makes the count 1-1. Santiago with a second chance. Long run by Sanborn and the shortstop Keller. A lot of foul territory until you get into deep left field. Then the bullpen for the Blue Devils comes out into foul territory but takes away foul area. Here comes the 1-1. Curveballs sails inside. So 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out. Santiago at first. Excuse me, at second. Pittman at first. Santiago's actually at the plate. There's a stolen base and the ball into left field. Third baseman probably should have had that. So Schumacher scores. He's stealing third. The ball goes into left field. So he has a stolen base and then scores on the throwing error. So 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Pittman had to hold up at second, could not come on to third. 7-0 comes the pitch to Santiago. He waves at a pitch on the outside corner for the strikeout. It's going to bring up Still. Still hit into a double play his first time up and had an RBI base hit his second time up. There's a fly ball down the right field line. The right fielder lost it. That ball's going to hit for extra bases. It's going to be an RBI double. RBI double for Still. The right fielder started towards center field and the ball was going down the right field line much to the high sky with the sun behind us. It's going to bring up Combs.
Sky's changed.
Outside ball 1. Combs has a single to right field and a triple to right center in his first 2 at-bats of this game. He's up there with a runner at second. 1-0 the count with 2 outs. Inside ball 2. 2-0. to Combs. There's ball 3 high. So 3-0 the count to Combs with first base open. 2 outs. Mooney on deck. There's a strike outside part of the plate at the knees. So 3-1, taking all the way was Combs. Outside ball 4. So a 2-out walk. Fill that empty base. It's going to bring up Mooney. Mooney hit a soft line drive to the second baseman. And a base hit, RBI base hit to right field, his second time up. He's up there with 2 outs and 2 on. Inside, that's going to be a wild pitch, going to allow the runners to move up. So 1-0 the count to Mooney. Combs at second. Still at third. 2 outs. Just misses a little bit low and inside. So 2-0 the count to Mooney. There's a foul ball pulled down the third base line. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. With Mooney batting here in the bottom of the 4th, 3 runs in, 8-0 lead for the Blue Devils. There is a ball hit hard down the left field line. It's going to be a fair ball into the corner. It's going to be an RBI, 2 RBI double for Mooney to make it 10-0. So So 3 RBI so far of the 10 belong to Mooney. That's going to bring up Green. Green's going to step in with 2 outs and a runner on. We're going to have a visit to the mound and probably a pitching change. We'll take a break. We'll be back. All right, pitching change has been made. Number 22, a right-hander, will come in for Labette County. We're going to have a pinch hitter in James Bradley Jr. He had a concussion down in Independence, and he drives one to the gap in right center with 2 on his mind, and he's going to have a double, an RBI double into right center on the first pitch that he faces. So he promptly makes it 11-0, gets a little bit of an insurance run toward being able to get a spread here in this game. So Bradley Jr. with an RBI double into right center makes it 11-0. Now Gifford's going to step in again. Gifford grounded out to the second baseman his first time up, but had a home run his second at bat. Time is asked for, and the umpire stepping out trying to get it, and the shin guard is hit. As the pitcher went ahead and threw and everybody was bailing out, it gets the umpire. Gifford's home run was almost dead center field. The deepest part of the park. So here comes the first pitch to him this at bat. It's outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Gifford. Bottom of the 4th action. The Blue Devils lead 11-0. Bradley Jr. pinch hits with a double, an RBI double. He's at second. There's a strike at the knees outside, inside corner. One ball, one strike, 2 outs to Gifford. Right-hander on the mound in relief, number 22. There's a strike on the outside corner at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Gifford. Comes the 1-2. There's a line drive to deep right center, and that ball is foul. Another bid for a home run by Gifford, but he pulled it just a little bit too early, and it's foul. So we'll do the 1-2 again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 6 runs in the inning, 2 in the first, none in the second, 3 in the third, and 6 here in the fourth. The first game was played in a couple of hours. There's a fly ball to center field. Going back is the center fielder. He uses the glove to shade things, finds the ball, and Ortega Jones puts that away for the third out. So we go to the top of the fifth with the bid to end this one early for the Blue Devils. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be back for the top of the fifth. All right, here we go to the top half of the fifth inning. Ortiz back to the mound for his fifth inning of work. He's just 3 outs away from a 5-inning spread and win. First pitch swinging is Keller, the shortstop. Keller, Ezel, and White due up. Keller walked his first time up. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Foul ball right over the first base dugout again. So quickly 0-2 the count on Keller. Comes the 0-2. High, ball 1. Grabbed a little extra there and threw it high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Keller. There's a ground ball at the first baseman. He's up with it and over to Ortiz. So still to Ortiz for the first ground out of this inning. It's going to bring up Ezel. He hit into a 5-4-3 double play his first time up in this game. He'll step in with 1 out and nobody on. They need 2 runs to keep this game going. There's a strike right through there, curveball. 0-1. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. Comes the 0-2. Bit of a high outside strike there called by the umpire, and a punch out for the second out of the inning. So that's going to bring up White. He hit a line drive right at the right fielder his last time up for out. He's going to be up there. The the Cardinals down to their last out possibility. There's a ball to Santiago over to Still for the out. So that's going to be it. In extra innings, the Blue Devils take the first game 4-3, and they take this one 11-0 in 5 innings. I will get some of my technology looked at to get MixLR to where you can get audio only going and bring you the games on Saturday. The first 2 games with Labette County go to the Blue Devils. We'll go to Parsons for the remaining 2 games of the series, and we will see you on Saturday. Check the time, check the website, 4tees.com, and we'll bring you audio only, provided we can get enough internet to do it. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good evening.